Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. So tonight, Scorpio, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Exciting. It could go either way. No, it could go so many ways, right? So really, this card is usually kind of a question mark. Where is this going to kind of apply? What sector of your life is kind of maybe changing a little bit? Maybe you are, focused on evolving some aspect of your life, or there might be an opportunity coming up and kind of a question mark of, is this the right thing or not? So let's take a look. Let's see what the tea leaves are going to say. They are very helpful. Somebody asked me the other day if I do tea leaf readings for myself. Do I ask the tea leaves questions for myself? Yeah, fully. And I get all kinds of answers even through readings I'm doing for other people. Even in this one, I'm sure that I will find some insights that will help me in my own work. And the many questions of my life. All right. I almost said Leo. I just filmed for Leo. It's not Leo. Scorpio. Scorpio. Okay. I hope I didn't say Leo at the beginning. I don't think so. I think I said Scorpio. Scorpio. Okay. So we have two people. It looks like they're holding hands. We also have the number 2. So I feel like this is probably the second love of your life, okay? I always like that saying or that thought that we have 3 great loves, right? Usually one when we're younger, our first love. And then one when we're in our, I would say usually, right? In our young adulthood. Maybe not. Maybe it's a little later than that. But then, in those later years, once you've lived some life, you've had some letdowns, some failures, and also triumphs, right? Your wants, your needs, the way you connect with people, it all changes, or at least hopefully it does, because I'll tell you what, I would never in my life want to have the same taste in people that I did when I was, 20 that I do now turning 40, right? Totally different ball game. So I think this is your second person, your second beloved. And it says, look at this. It says W-E, we. So one of you, I think, is very logical, right? Very pragmatic. I see we have the flamingo, or the tall birds, right? The birds of the lakes, the rivers, the grasslands. When you look at them, when you watch them, and they're just standing there, they're kind of just hanging out. Now, a flamingo is very stylish and pretty while they're doing it, and so are the other birds. They're pretty too. But you look at them and you think, man, they're just like out there communing with the universe. They are contemplating deeply their next move, where they're at, how they've been doing, I don't know, the conversation they had with the woodchuck, at lunchtime or whatever it is they're out there thinking about. You look at them and you think, they're serene, they're focused. They're living the life. So we have this person right there. And next to them, I feel like maybe there's been health issues. We have a ribbon. So that tells me that there's been something that they have survived. And maybe something that they're still struggling with. Or, you know, kind of the things surrounding the illness there. Trying to get a little drink here. Now, and I have to say, if I sound funny, like, I cannot believe I started my first reading, and I have gotten some kind of, I don't think I have a cold. I think it's just allergies or a sinus infection starting, and I'm all congested. So, you know, I tried to clear out before I start, and immediately my ear goes plugged. So now when I'm talking, it's like vibrating, and I feel like I'm in a tin can. So I'm sorry if I sound funny. I just absolutely am having trouble hearing myself. It's driving me nuts over here. So anyways, we have the person that is very logical, thoughtful, has had health issues. Now on the other side, we have the spade. Okay, so this is, and we're going to go off the, you know, the same. Like if you say somebody's a real spade, what does that mean? They're kind of like a wild card. They're kind of, you know, well, let me look it up. Let me make sure that I'm not being derogatory, because I always thought that it meant that you are like kind of unpredictable, right? Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm trying to type this out. Or is it a real card? Now I'm seeing a spade. Maybe I have the idioms mixed up. That's not a spade, a real card. I think that's what it is. A real card. Whatever it is. Okay, thankfully not derogatory. Sorry if it is in some context. I didn't mean to say it in that way. If it is, but I don't think it is. I looked it up. I think we're okay. So, what I'm going to go off of for this spade over here, really, well, is a direct person. And where did I miss it? Where are you at? There you are, right there. A very direct person. But also, I'm going with being kind of unpredictable as well. Because that's the feeling. I'm like, yes, this makes sense, because it almost feels like they're the life of the party. They joke, they have fun. They're like gonna jump in the pool with all their clothes on, you know. But also, when it comes to business, not like work business, but when they need to stand on business, they do, right? This isn't somebody that's just running their mouth. They can be quite cutting, okay? So these two together, I wonder if this is your dynamic or if this is your parents, because I keep feeling like this is like an older thing for some reason. I'm just imagining like being in the 70s or and I am just like, I imagine like two, and I feel like I'm looking at a picture. Not a Polaroid. What were those, like, do you remember the ones from the, like, 60s, 70s? They were, like, the square, and you could feel, they were, like, kind of bumpy. Not bumpy, but there's, like, a texture to them. I don't know what kind of print that is, but that's, in my mind, what I'm picturing. And two people holding hands. The man had gold sunglasses. Like they were framed, very like ostentatious. And I just feel, I can just imagine these are people that are having parties. They have friends, they're enjoying life. And I feel like for you, it was like heaven being around, growing up around a household that was alive, you know, and there was love. There was genuine love. Genuine love. So I feel like that's important. This is really important. This dynamic, it really influences you now, but has influenced you as a person. Okay. Now we also have, and I want to keep. So I'm seeing a city building, and it looks like a crab that's like electrified. You can see the little claw here and here, and it looks like the thing is electrified. So I almost wonder if this is a Cancer person in a state of frenzy or almost kind of like really angry rage. And we have a person who is looking at the building, but they also look like a building too. We have a person over here looking. We have a bird sitting on the roof of the building. And I can't help but feel like this is almost like if you live in the city, there's this real desire to leave. I feel like it's like you are just tired of like the 500 layers of noise and stimuli and, you know, busyness and all of this. And I'm saying this because I'm looking at this building and it looks squished a little, like distorted. And it gives me a feeling of like everything. If you remember back in the day, they used to have this cartoon called Dr. Katz, I think. And when the whole cartoon was like, the lines were like kind of, you know, fuzzy, like they were, like it was electricity or, you know, staticky. And I keep getting this feeling like you just want to escape all the busyness. It's so much. You want to get back to where you can. And I think this maybe is why the dynamic of the parents is coming up or the family members. And that's because I feel like there's this yearning for a simpler life. There's this yearning to get out of the rat race, this wanting to be somewhere where you can hear yourself think, where you can have a little house and you can have, you know, a little barbecue in the backyard and, you know, hang out with your friends and your family members and watch your kids grow up and all this kind of thing. And I just feel like, you know, maybe you decided against that at some point and you stayed in the city, or maybe you grew up out in the, you know, rural or the suburbs or whatever, and you found your way into the city, and now it almost feels like it would be a failure to leave, right? And so I don't know. I feel like this is a time when you're really considering, where do I go? Where do I belong? Where do I belong? What part of the world? What kind of landscape? Now we also have the fox. And I feel like, here's the face of the fox up here. Okay. So I feel like and here's the fox right here. The head, the arm, the little leg. Here's the foot, the little tail. And we have the hummingbird. And we have A2, 25. So you have somebody who's interested in you, and I think that they keep trying to introduce themselves or like get closer to you. I feel like there's a reason you feel a resistance to them, and I think that's because they do feel sly, and that I like a sly fox. There's a trickster element. I don't think that you are open to the romantic here. But even a friendship, I don't think. I feel like you just don't trust this person, and you're somebody that values trust. I mean, the initial meeting somebody, if you feel any type of weird way about them, that's a big no. You're not going to be talked into feeling any other way. So I feel like for this person, there's almost this sense of like an annoyance, but maybe you like the attention a little bit. But at the same time, I feel like I don't know. I hate to say this because if you're not into somebody, it's like, why would you like come around to being in? I almost feel like though, there's almost kind of a reveal here where it's like all of a sudden you see them in a different light and you actually really connect. There's like a lot in common there that you don't even realize yet. And I don't know that this is even a romantic thing, but I feel like this could be like a really good friendship, And as a woman, okay, and I don't want to feed into stereotypes, but you know what? For me, I definitely have been guilty of looking at another woman and thinking, we're not going to get along. Like, we're completely different kinds of people. Like, she's probably, like, super stuck up or whatever, And I'm the one that's being stuck up because I'm already prejudging somebody, In my older years, I have found that I have been so wrong about mostly women. Yeah, mostly women. Not like, listen, I'm not like, I've always had good friendships with women. And I've had long friendships as well. So don't, not a rotating, door of them. But yeah, I definitely, and you know what? If you've ever seen a picture of me, I dress a little different. You can only imagine what kind of mall goth thing I had going on when I was a kid. So, I was I had that like Daria disposition. But here's the deal. So often, if we just let our guards down and have a conversation with somebody, you will find something about them that you connect with. And oftentimes, you'll be really surprised to find out, like, yeah, we wear like way different clothes, we're into different things, our houses are decorated differently, our kids dress differently, whatever. But like, yeah, we're hella cool. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Oops. Hecka cool. We get along, right? And so, yeah, definitely. I feel like this is going to be the little gift of this next cycle. Also, I just love you reminiscing in your old memories. I love that you had people in your life who were in love. Not everybody witnessed relationships that were varied, but also like had different kinds of people, but also successful, right? That's always such a beautiful thing. All right, so we have a person standing here. We have all of this. Usually I would say anxiety. Anxiety. No, this is not. I see this with the arm raised like this out into the sky, right? Like the arm is raised right here. I see this as a devotional pose, as a pose of awe. It is also manifesting. And with all these little bits here, I imagine it's like all of these abstract little pieces of, information and material and this and that, and it's all forming together. And you are doing it. This is a powerful manifestation period. I don't know what it is, but I just watched my daughter manifest something the other day, like within a couple of minutes. It was wild. Completely blew my mind. My husband and I have been talking about manifesting a lot. Shout out to my husband over at Dove and Serpent Tarot. His name is Paul. He's wonderful. Go check him out if you haven't seen him before. It's just such a powerful time. So set your intentions. Get active. If you don't know what manifesting is, go look it up. Look for some, simple techniques and get started with it. All right, we're going to do our three lucky numbers. 72, 84. It went way off of here, but it's 65. 65. Okay, I got to hurry up. I'm going to be late to get my daughter. I'm running late. But I want to say I love you. Scorpio, I love you. You got this. You are so awesome. I cannot wait to see what is coming next. And yeah, I don't know. I was going to ask a question. I had a Scorpio question. I always say I'm a Virgo, solar Virgo. I feel like Scorpios and Virgos are like twins. You all, the Scorpios, are just like the way cooler, twin. I'm like the nerdy Virgo twin. All right, Scorpio, I love you. We'll talk in a few days. Good night.